Hi everyone, I'm Ali GREYMOND. Today I wanted to talk to you about understanding the full scope of what you need to do in order to overcome your OCD. People talk about it a lot in the general terms. Well, I need to do this, I need to do that, but you need to really understand in all the detail where you are doing compulsions. And I suggest, and then again, I don't want you to do it in an obsessive way, but I do suggest having a list of everything you've done starting from the moment you wake up and where were the compulsions, whether mental compulsions or physical compulsions. With mental compulsions, I would say write down the list of triggers. So what triggered you? With physical compulsions, just write down what you did, just because we need to see the full scope. And if you start to just really note everything that's happening throughout the day, you will see how much more you are doing than you thought you were doing, or how much more you are analyzing than you thought you were. Because a lot of this is going on autopilot to the point where you're not even noticing it. So when you actually take a look and have it physically written out of, okay, I've done all of this today, or I've spent all this time analyzing. Important point is, if you are noting analyzing, note how much time. So was it a few 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 hours? What was it, right? So we have a clear understanding, and not just try to be as detailed as possible, because you want to make sure you know which thought you spent how much time on, because then that takes the guesswork out of the questions of, well, why am I feeling worse, or why am I feeling better? Well, you're feeling better because you refused, right? Or you're feeling worse because you gave in to compulsions. Now, I always say this, but I just want to make sure that you guys hear it one more time. um, is as soon as you stop doing compulsions, you will not instantly feel better. You will feel not worse, but you will see more thoughts. So the thoughts will start to switch very rapidly. That's normal. All it is the brain's like, oh, you're not buying this. Let me send you a million more just to get you into a reaction. Doesn't matter on what, just on anything. So it will give you all kinds of details. Sometimes the thought will not switch, but the details, not sometimes, a lot of the times, the thought won't switch as a whole. Just the details of the thought will switch. So you'll grab onto this or that detail, and that detail will be the only thing that matters. So that's what you should be seeing. So because whenever I talk to clients, I always ask, um, how many thoughts are you having? Are you having a lot of thoughts? Are you not having a lot of thoughts? How long are they lasting? Because this is all very important. If the person for yourself, right? If you're saying, um, I'm having a thought. It doesn't switch. It's the exact same thought. It's not budging at all. Well, that means that you're paying a lot of attention to it. You're giving it all the power that it needs to keep going. So the brain doesn't even need to switch to another thought. It's fine with this one. Because all the brain wants you to do is to protect yourself from what you find scary. So if you say, this is scary and I am protecting myself by doing reassurance, then your brain's like, okay, no problem. I'll just keep sending you this thought. You'll keep protecting yourself, and we'll go like this indefinitely. But when you start to resist, that's when it starts to get uncomfortable, and that's why when it starts to get you um, um, more thoughts in order to get you into a reaction. Another thing is, a lot of the times it will go back to a thought that you haven't had in a long time to try to get you back in, because from your brain's perspective, what would be easier to get you caught up on? Some new thought, or a thought that it already knows that in the past you fell for, right? So a lot of the times I see that happening. If, say, you had, especially if you had an OCD situation, and then you moved on to this new OCD situation, but the old one never got resolved. It just moved from one to another, which is very, very common. A lot of the times, the old one will come back just as a way of getting you uh, back into reaction. So watch out for that. If that's happening, you really have to stand up to OCD and say, no, this is happening to everyone. I'm not falling for it. This is just OCD. I'm not buying it. I'm moving on. Don't solve these thoughts. Don't do reassurance behaviors. Just choose not to the best of your ability. And I understand that it's easier said than done, and it's not that easy to just, oh, I just won't. I get that, but you need to start resisting. So if you can't resist fully, delay or do the compulsion, but don't do it exactly right. Do it just a little bit, not perfectly, and then do it a little less perfectly. And then maybe after, a few weeks of this, you don't have to do it at all if it's a very difficult one to get through. It's not an all or nothing. Yeah, a lot of the times, again, I see people will say, well, I failed, so I'm not going to try anymore, and I guess I will not recover, you know? And that's not the right attitude. And then I have to talk to them like, no, this is not how it goes. It's not all or nothing issue. And then they start to do it slowly, and then, they see that it works. Just look at it as a progression. You're going from point A to point B. It's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but you will get there. But again, going back to the beginning of the video, that you need to see the scope of the problem. It can't be generally, I have OCD and that's the scope. It has to be, these are all my issues, these are all of my compulsions that I'm doing, or at least cover 99% of them. And then, as you go, you will see the other ones, the 1%, but you need to have a list of things, because that will that will guarantee that your recovery is full and you didn't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find my videos helpful. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. I do daily videos about all things related to OCD recovery. If you would like to do one-on-one recovery program with me, please sign up on the website. You have OCD.com. And when you sign up, so because a lot of people have been asking me how to sign up. So you choose the package that works best for you. The packages are set up to cover different types of OCD severity. So some people need to talk every single day. Some people only need a little bit of support. So like once a month or one session, just to kind of get some questions answered. So choose the package that works for you, and then you make a selection on the scheduler. So you schedule the time, and you can see it in your time zone. I talk to people all around the world, but there's a like a drop down thing, so you will see what time it would be in your time zone. So please set it up that way. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.